Hey, this is the World Advice Channel too. What I want to talk about today is the reason why people hate the police so much. So for this video, I will discuss why people hate the police so much. When it comes to the two of some of the main reasons why people hate the police so much, so people who are not familiar with this topic can understand it. So now I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of why do people hate the police so much, out of the two main reasons, the first main reason why people hate the police with such an undeniable passion nowadays, particularly with all the things you see going on in the world, is that first and foremost, they have a way of preventing people from being able to learn how to defend themselves, or for that matter, being able preventing people from being able to defend themselves properly. Now, this is one of the main reasons why people hate the police with such an undeniable passion. Because the truth of the matter is, and I'm certain anyone in the world who actually uses their brain for that matter, knows that in this world we live in, there's a lot of people who like to go around from place to place causing problems. Whether it could be mentally ill people or just homeless people or just random kids who just want to start fights for no reason, bullies, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards, whatever. There's a lot of people in the world who like to go around starting problems. And that's not even mentioning, obviously, surprise, surprise, criminals, okay? And when it comes to dealing with the police, a lot of people get in trouble for being able to defend themselves. Now, this of course varies from place to place, but in North America, even in America, believe it or not, there's a lot of cases of people who have defended themselves getting in trouble. Whether it could be someone who physically defend themselves through using punches and kicks, like because they know martial arts, um, taking out a criminal who's trying to rob them or something, or someone killing someone by shooting them in the case of self defense of their home, for someone attempting to rob them. The truth of the matter is, in this society we live in nowadays, you can get in trouble for being able to defend yourself. Okay, even whether it's things like that, or even just being down to fighting back against a bully. If you're a teenager, you can get arrested for that. Okay, the police can be called to the place, and you can get in trouble. And the teacher might simply say it was excessive force, even if you were not the one to hit first. You were hitting in self defense because you were the one who got hit first. That's the truth of the matter when it comes to this particular issue. A lot of the police have been responsible for this for a long time. This whole culture of, simply put it, punishing people who are simply defending themselves for that matter. And for that very reason, this is the truth of the matter of why, or I should say one of the main reasons why people hate the police so much. Because anyone in this world who knows even a little bit about people who are victims of crime, or people who are victims of harassment like bullying and all that sort of stuff, whether it could be, getting in a fight, with people in school or something because they're bullying you, or it could be an outside world, someone tries to rob you, is that the truth of the matter is, particularly for men, it has a massive psychological impact on people, okay? It has a massive psychological impact on people because it not only, of course, frightens an individual, it also gives a feeling of a sense of humiliation for what happened to them. Because the truth of the matter is, what happened to that person is obviously not only traumatic, but it's humiliating. Because who wants to feel like the victim in this world? Who wants to be the one who might be walking home from school getting beaten up, and then having to have people later on say, "Oh, I heard about what happened and this and that," and so on and so forth. Who wants to feel like that type of person, or who wants to be that type of person in general, for that matter, who a situation happens to them, for that matter, and people sometimes might bring it up here and there, especially if they're in a bad mood or something, or just have an issue with what you might have said to them. "Oh, I heard you got beaten up and this and that. Oh, you didn't even retaliate, you didn't even fight back, or this and that." That's the thing I want to ask people. Who in God's mind wants to be disrespected in that way? For any human being who has even a basic degree of morals and dignity, why would any self-respecting person want to be humiliated like that? Because the truth of the matter is, you have the right as any human being to defend yourself when people are attacking you or doing things to you. And that's not even taking consideration, in some scenarios when it comes to self-defense, what the person might do to you if, they are able to succeed in their plan. And more specifically, you don't defend yourself. That's the reason, one of the biggest reasons why people hate them with such a denying passion, in all honesty. And that's what I'm trying to say here. And I have no shame in saying this. I do not. That's one of the biggest reasons I have with the police. Why are they getting involved and telling people, oh, you have no right to defend yourself and taking it to court? And this is also another problem I want to have. People say, well, it has to be decided in court and this and that. For that matter, the truth of the matter is, for that matter, that is also problematic, because the truth of the matter is, even though they say, well, you have to take someone to court and they have to, all this type of stuff and figure things out, why would anyone in their right mind, when it's as clear as day, in a day and age where anyone can record a situation happening and look at a situation happening, and say, okay, we can clearly tell this person was defending themselves, since we live in an age where there's cameras everywhere nowadays, you know, want to waste their time in an age where you could literally just look up a camera and say, okay, we clearly see this kid was defending himself. These people were following him, and he made it clear he didn't know them and stuff, and they just started trying to attack him and stuff, and he defended himself. The truth of the matter is, when you could do things like that, why would anyone want to waste their time going to court? Everything from having to pay thousands of dollars to $10,000 in some cases, God forbid, having to wait many months to years even, for crying out loud, okay, having to go through that process, the stress of of doing of going to court, okay, everything from the amount of money you have to use, to having to to having to deal with lawyers, who a lot of them are assholes, okay, to having to, of course, surprise, 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 you know, um, you know, having to deal with having to take the risk of losing a case when it's as clear as day I defended myself because someone was trying to start shit with me. That's the age we live in. That's the question I want to ask. And that's so, yeah, like I was saying, deal with all that silliness, in the first place. Like, why does anyone want to deal with that stuff? And that's why a lot of people don't do anything, and why a lot of people don't do that stuff. It's so stupid. And that's the truth of the matter. So that's my first point. Now to get to the second point, it's just how the police in general are like when you deal with situations with them. A lot of them are, first and foremost, are rude. Okay, and this doesn't have to necessarily relate to self-defense, but when you deal with them, a lot of them in general are rude. They are disrespectful. Sometimes you might have made, okay, a few step-ups in life. Okay, maybe at one point I was a professional shoplifter. Okay, what I did was wrong, I acknowledge it. But they have this culture of always, always constantly harassing people. And that's a problem with the cops. A lot of times the cops start shit with people for no reason. And a lot of times, sometimes you are a perfectly innocent person, but you happen to fit the so-called description of someone. They stop you, they waste your time for whatever you're planning to do for the day, and they try to arrest you, and you might not even go like, what the fuck's going on? And then they start attacking you and getting beaten up, just like all the situations that were going on in the states with black people being attacked by police officers. And you didn't even do anything, and they're trying to make your life a freaking living hell for something you did not do. That's the truth about the police and why so many hate them. And what makes it worse, and the main reason why people hate them, is that they don't hold themselves accountable. A lot of them do these terrible things. The most they give them is not even a slap on the wrist. It's like a pat on the wrist for doing these particular things. And that's exactly the reason why so many people hate the police so passionately. And I can't blame them for all the things that for them hating them. Now, do we need a police? Of course we do need a police, okay? But the difference between realizing, okay, logically we need a police, versus realizing, okay, um, you know, the way they're being handled and managed is terrible. And that's why people hate them so much. And that's our argument. There's people always make, well, we need a police, but what does that have to do with anything? There's some nations that have terrible police. Does it still necessarily mean I like the police in that nation? No. So that's the problem I have with those arguments those people make it. They make it all the same time. It's the same freaking thing. The police, the police, the police. We need them. We do need police, but the police we have are crap, and the way they're managed is crap, and that's why no one likes them for that matter. So that's the truth of the matter when it comes to dealing with to why people hate the police so much, and I can't really blame them. So if you're interested in knowing at least the two main reasons why people hate the police so much, those are the two main reasons why, and I can't really blame people for hating them because they do this stuff all the time and they don't really resolve anything in a process when a lot of them do the wrong things that they do. They don't hold themselves accountable. They just go around causing problems, in a lot of cases and not being punished, as well as getting in situations that don't even relate to them, and not even doing their job in resolving them. That's the truth of the matter of why people hate the police so much. At least so many hate the police. So anyway, that's my video. This is all I have to say. Just remember, if you like this video and like videos like this, remember to thumb this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all I have to say, and simply put, I'm out. So bye.